As Nintendo finally listened to the fans, a new update was recently released for Mario Kart World, giving us big changes to the game, like making characters easier to unlock, they added great quality of life changes, and yes, increasing the chances of seeing 3-lap races in online play. So the question is, did this update fix Mario Kart World? Well, today I'm going to go over all the important changes and quality of life improvements to find out. Let's go. Now, I'm not going to bore you all with every single little detail and minor bug fixes that the update gave us, but rather, I really just want to give you guys my overall thoughts on the important updates and noticeable changes that I feel have made the biggest impact on the game, and the current state that I feel the game is now in. Now, when it comes to free roam, I know not everyone is a fan of this mode, mainly due to the lack of story and quests, which has made this world feel kind of empty. And while I mostly agree with the sentiment, I still personally enjoy driving around at my own pace and finding collectibles, while also enjoying the amazing background music this game has to offer. To me, free roam is a playground to mess around in, practice skills, explore the tracks we're racing on, and well, it's just become a place to have fun and chill out, which leads us into the changes that they made to free roam. For starters, P-switches and Peach medallions that you've come across now show up on the world map, and the switches can even be used as fast travel points. I absolutely love this quality of life feature since it's now way easier to keep track of all your collectibles and avoid aimless wandering. And this is an even bigger win for me personally since I haven't even come close to finding everything yet, and considering there's over 700 collectibles in total, this is definitely going to save me a lot of time and encourage me to actually try and collect everything. This was a much needed change, seriously. Another big update to free roam is the increased chance to find random UFOs while driving around, and while there are some static locations where the UFOs will always appear in, there are those rare occasions when they can randomly show up as well. And some of you might be asking, what's the point of these UFOs in the first place? Well, they used to just be a fun vehicle you can fly around in, and it just gives you a ton of height and helps you travel around the world faster. But after this update, the UFO now serves a much greater purpose because now you can use them to unlock new characters. By using the UFO's tractor beam, you can transform into the character that you pulled in, and by doing so, you'll also unlock them as a playable character if you haven't already. So if you're like me and still don't have all the characters yet, then this update is a pretty big one because let's be honest, unlocking characters in this game can be tedious and it is a bit of a pain, especially if you're trying to unlock them all by using the Kamek item in certain areas of the map. It can be quite time consuming. Lastly, there's also a couple minor changes they made, like being able to do 2-player free roam online while waiting in the lobby for a race to start, and something to do with conditions for Peach medallions appearing. I tried to test this out thinking it had something to do with the draw distance you could see the medallion, but I couldn't really notice anything different, so maybe it's only certain ones that were hard to spot. I'm not really sure what this means, to be honest, so let me know in the comments if you guys noticed anything different. So that does it for the important free roam updates, and while I think this is a great start, I'm really hoping they'll continue to put out updates that add more things to free roam, maybe some quests and some more challenges, and overall just more things to do in general is always a good thing. I'd also love for them to double down on this new UFO feature and give us some more NPC characters to transform into and unlock. Now let's talk about the multiplayer updates and the important changes that they made. First of all, you can now join up with friends when playing Knockout Tour online. But to be honest, I'm not sure why this wasn't already a feature implemented from the beginning, since it just seems like a pretty simple thing we should have been able to do. But hey, at least we have it. Aside from that, they also made a few interesting changes, like increasing the invincibility time after crashing or spinning out, decreasing the time it takes for an item box to reappear after being taken from another player, and the force of jumps when landing on other players has been reduced as well. And while these changes may seem minor at first glance, they can make a much bigger impact than you think, like increasing the invincibility time, for instance. We all know how brutal Mario Kart can be sometimes. Things are going smoothly, then suddenly multiple items are flying at you and you're getting hit with just about everything. Yeah, things can snowball extremely quickly, and it feels like you could go from first to last in an instant. Because in Mario Kart, when it rains, it pours. Especially with Mario Kart World having 24 players now, the item spam and chaos is ramped up even more. So while the update won't stop the snowballing, it at least helps to have some more time to recover and hopefully build back that speed before being hit with another item. So this is a win for me, and I think it can definitely help secure your place at the finish line. Speaking of items, to me, one of the most annoying things in Mario Kart is when you're trailing behind someone and they grab the item box right before you do, making you completely miss your item and leaving you empty-handed. And while this doesn't happen too often, when it does, it can be pretty detrimental, especially if you're on the final lap and trying to catch up in the race. When testing out the new update, I played several online races and did notice the item boxes respawning a bit quicker. It seemed like a slight difference, but there were a few times an item box was taken almost right before me, and I was still able to get an item for myself. Whereas before this update, I likely would have missed the item in the same scenario. Also, quick side note, why did they use the word revived? Are they insinuating that these item boxes are alive? And if that's true, then that means every time you're driving through one of them, you're killing the item box? Whoa, okay, no, that's just too crazy. Anyway, silliness aside, the biggest part of this update is the one we've all been waiting for. The frequency of 3-lap tracks appearing has been increased in online worldwides. Now, when it comes to this update, I don't have an exact percentage of how much they've increased the 3-lap frequency, but what I can tell you guys is after the update dropped, I played around 10 online worldwides, and I saw a 3-lap track option almost every time, with the exception of maybe just a couple times where it was all intermission choices. The fact that I saw 3-lap tracks in the majority of the online lobbies I played in is a great sign. The increased frequency is definitely noticeable, and it was refreshing to actually see people vote for a track choice instead of insta-locking random like before. Now, I'll be the first to say I'm not too bothered by the intermission tracks personally. I mean, I do think they provide a unique twist to Mario Kart, and I like how wide open the tracks feel, allowing you to take multiple different off-road paths and shortcuts to reach the goal. And because these tracks are much longer, they really give us a taste of just how big this world is and how seamless each track blends so well with each other. And hey, these intermission tracks have nice scenic routes too. But with that said, I much prefer playing the traditional way with the standard 3-lap races on the same track. I mean, I've grown up playing Mario Kart since I was a little lad, and to me, that's exactly what Mario Kart's all about. High speed, creative tracks, and just chaotic fun. Unfortunately, sometimes these intermission tracks can feel a little too long and a bit boring, to be honest. And while I can't say I'm the biggest fan of mostly driving straight forward the entire time, my biggest gripe with these intermission tracks is that once we finally get to a main track, we only get one lap out of it and the race is over. One lap goes by way too fast, and not being able to race on these beautiful tracks for more than one lap, racing mostly on the highways for the majority of the race, then spending a small amount of time on the actual main track, I don't know, it just doesn't feel satisfying to me. It just leaves me a little bit disappointed and wanting more. I'm just saying, I spent all this time driving to a specific track, I want to be able to enjoy it for more than one lap. It's like spending multiple hours traveling and driving all the way to Disney World, and yes, you enjoy the scenery along the way. Once you finally get there, you only stay for an hour or two and leave. To me, it just doesn't make sense to spend more time getting to your destination than the actual time you spend being there and enjoying it. I don't know. Does this analogy make sense? I didn't mean to go on a rant, but it's just the best way I can describe how it feels to play intermission tracks online. So after this update, can we say Mario Kart World is fixed? Well, I wouldn't say the game was necessarily broken to begin with, because it's always been a fun game for me, but it definitely had some self-inflicted issues due to previous updates in the past, and maybe some questionable decision making. But with that said, I definitely think this new update is a big step in the right direction, and the game feels like it's in a much better place now than it was earlier, and I think most of us can agree on that. Honestly though, if they just made a separate online mode that only gives us standard 3-lap tracks to choose from, I think it probably would erase most of the headaches and overall just make the majority of people happy. But what future updates, changes, and overall improvements do you hope to see next? And do you think we'll be getting DLC for this game in the future? Only time will tell, but if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was any indication, I think we'll be seeing a lot of support and added content for this game for years to come. Anyway, thank you all for watching and, well, I guess listening to me rant for a while as well. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please be sure to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more Nintendo related content. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next one.